Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And with the Stage 4 Major just around the corner, there are a lot of interesting things to dive into today, especially regarding what is going on with the New York subline. There's a lot of drama around this team these last few days, as Seam not being able to make it to the States. Who are they getting as a replacement, and which man could they have got, but decided for whatever reason not to reply to their message? Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this comes out from Call of Duty yesterday. Whether this will have any implications on the competitive scene remains to be seen, but still, this is what they say yesterday. Season 4, June the 17th. New multiplayer maps are coming to the games. A hijacked, of course, back from Black Ops 2. Rush, also another map, which is honestly a great DLC map in Black Ops 2. Really fun public match map. Honestly, doesn't play bad for Search and Destroy. I wonder how it will play for example, like Control or something like that, because right now, if you look at the competitive map set, the hardpoint map set I think is pretty much fine. I don't imagine that's going to change. Garrison and Checkmate Control can be a bit questionable, but the pros will certainly need a fair bit of time to test out another map. We saw that with Standoff maybe. Could be good for those modes, but the pros probably didn't have time to actually test it, so just decided to stick with the old map set that they had. And then potentially Miami Search and Destroy is the other question mark in the map set right now that could get changed out. Rush could be an idea over there. Capture the Flag also has been talked about. That's coming as a game mode. Finally, I suppose, this also is Rush from back in Black Ops 2. This, I think, is the new version they've done for Cold War, but effectively it's the same thing, like a type of paintball map pretty much. And there's a Round 11 Stats tweets out right here. This is the map layout. That's that kind of paintball section. Honestly, a very well designed map. It was relatively small though, so 4 versus 4, especially with how fast this game plays. Especially, you know, we saw Standoff, for example, play incredibly quickly, and that's what the pros are frustrated about, especially for the respawn. So I think potentially for Search and Destroy, but you know, if they do decide to replace Miami Search and Destroy, this could be an option they could consider. But it wasn't played in Black Ops 2 competitively, but I think it came into the life cycle, you know, a fair point in the cycle, as it kind of has done this year. Once again, the other question has been around Capture the Flag. This has been not necessarily a staple game mode, but a very consistent game mode throughout Call of Duty history, as of course way back in the day, you know, Black Ops 2 was played to great effect. Black Ops 3, of course, Advanced Warfare early on, and World War 2, of course, Capture the Flag did make its return. Now, it wasn't played this season. Control has been the game mode of choice, but it now is finally arriving into the game, and of course, Parasite tweets out right here, if only CTF was played. Now, we did talk about it at the start of the cycle, and there was kind of rumors at times that CTF was going to be coming. Of course, you know, now it's too little too late, right, I suppose, to actually change things out and bring CTF into the rotation instead of Control, but still something to think about, right, because obviously we do expect to get a Call of Duty next year for Vanguard, but, you know, there was certainly the discussion if Vanguard has to be delayed or whatever, we might be playing Black Ops Cold War for 2 years, then maybe CTF something to consider there, and I think Mork says a similar thing right here. CTF needs to be tested ASAP. Feel like it'll play so much better than Control, and more maps it could be played on. Maybe that is true, but at this point I think it's just too late for the pros to go down that route. The Stage 4 LAN though is coming up in just a couple of days time, as Clay says I get to meet Bobble and JP in person tomorrow for the first time. That, you know, that being Revan and JP Krez for the first time since I joined New York, becoming real that we now have LAN in a couple of days. Cannot express how excited I am to get back at it, win or lose, thankful we are back. Very exciting stuff indeed, just around the corner, starting here on Thursday. However, New York, as we just talked about, not in the best situation at the present time. A Seam does an update yesterday, an update for everyone, read right here, and of course he talks about a number of issues that he's had, and certainly a difficult time these last several months for a Seam. And really the first paragraph here is what's going on exactly with Stage 4. So, as he says, I most likely won't be able to make the major. I won't go into details, but it's been a huge obstacle for me to overcome, knowing I won't be there when it matters most. Unless by some last minute miracle, you won't be seeing me there. Seeing my team compete on stage/LAN and me not being able to play sucks. Clay and I have spoke a lot about it, and we were so excited to play alongside each other on stage, especially since we played against each other in the finals of the last LAN event. So, of course, you know, really disappointing stuff, to be honest. Yeah, I guess it was Minnesota Rokkr at the time, played against the Dallas Empire in the final LAN event. There was one, I'm pretty sure it was the Los Angeles home series, before everything, of course, kicked off this time pretty much last year. So, difficult for a Seam. It doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get out there. If he could somehow magically get out there for, like, Sunday, I wonder what they do, right? Let's say, like, New York somehow, by any miracle, make it to Championship Sunday, and a Seam arrives, or do they just sub him in and go for it? I don't know. It's interesting to see how that could develop. Now, this is what Doug said to Martin said. I thought this is hilarious. Quick update on my team situation. The subliners offered me a 14-day, 6-figure contract for the upcoming major. I declined due to them being unable to equip me with my iconic sleeveless jersey. I wish them nothing but the best as always. I am signing with a team this week, he says. Now, I think he said this a while ago. I guess this is like the contract stuff. He's talking about signing with some team or another. Now, apparently that's not going to be the subliners. I suppose it's because that FaZe came in and offered him like the 8-figure contract, and that's why subliners, that's why Doug had to turn down around this opportunity. But yeah, pretty funny stuff, all things considered. It doesn't seem like Doug's going to be the one to be on their team. And well, Saint could have been a great target, right? There's a few players in the amateur scene, clearly, that we discussed yesterday that rejected the opportunity. And Decimate was kind of just talked about as being one of them. However, that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case anymore, as we'll look at in a couple of seconds here. But this is what's going on with Saint, right? So Saint is one of the real veterans of the amateur scene. He's been around so many years, won so many championships over multiple years, and certainly someone I thought at some point will certainly get back into the Pro League. However, this is a really interesting situation because, as he says, subliners approached him to replace the scene for the Major 4, but he did not answer in time. Now, I wonder if this is because, as he says, look, New York did ask me, just didn't answer in time. It was during the Cup, complicated situation, to be honest. So there's so much stuff that goes on for these amateur guys because there's like there's this Cup going on. There's also this other open tournament that they have down in the Challenger scene. And if they, for example, were to replace a scene and then a scene could make it out all of a sudden by any miracle, then they would be ineligible from playing in these other tournaments, which obviously is not ideal for them. So they probably didn't want to go down that route, and therefore a lot of them declined the opportunity. And maybe Saints was in a similar boat. He was getting the text in, guys like John and other players that had declined the opportunity from New York because they don't want to lose out on the opportunity in the amateur side and potentially hurt their stock or whatever. Then if that's a possibility that they're considering at the very least, then Saints might have been thinking along a similar boat. However, then he says, look, listen bros, I should have answered immediately, fumbled the bag, end of story. So this could have been Saints' chance to get back into league. It would have made sense because he was on the Subliners Academy earlier this season, but for whatever reason he didn't answer, and now he's out of an opportunity, right, to get back into at least for the stage 4 major. And who knows when a team can actually get out there with the visa complications that it clearly is continuing to have. Now, this is what Crone says yesterday. So there was this whole drama, right, where Decimate was replying to Clayster saying, yeah, I didn't say that in the DMs, even though Clayster's saying that I said no, or whatever the situation may be. Now Decimate seems to be going along with it. Decimate will likely join Subliners and play Major 4 in place of a team who cannot make it due to the visa issues. If this does happen, it's not exactly the ideal base. Decimate's obviously a solid player, don't get me wrong, but Asim is a very crucial component, I think, of their communication on that team. Also, in terms of just making space and being a very selfless player. I think you may well see with Subliners this weekend the fact that they really lack the importance of Asim, I would imagine, in the matches that they play this weekend. However, Decimate's solid player, no doubt, but let's not forget the last time he was in the league, we had a pretty interesting situation transpire. As he said yesterday, that's not what the DMs say when Clayster initially said that he said no. Now it seems like it's going to be the case. But last time around, we had some pretty entertaining stuff regarding the Seattle Surge. Decimate joined Seattle, of course, and they play a couple of events, or pretty much a couple of matches. They lose all of them. They don't look particularly good. And Decimate effectively decides his time is up. I'm just going to leave the team and go back to the amateur scene. Now, that wasn't really a good look at the time. I think a lot of amateur players have been declining opportunities on starting teams, and understandably so. If you're a guy like John and you're getting opportunities to go to Los Angeles Guerrillas, for example, the expectations are there for you. Yeah, okay, you're going to go and turn around that team, make it a championship winner again. That's unlikely to happen if you're a guy like John, who's obviously won world championships in the past in Call of Duty, or at least one back in the Black Ops 3 days, and won multiple events most certainly, sitting there in the amateur scene trying to get your opportunity again. You probably don't want to take it up an opportunity like that so you can get an opportunity from a better team during the off-season or something along those lines. But Decimate did take the chance, but then he said, okay, yeah, I'm just going to leave and go back to the amateur side. Now, that wasn't the greatest look, I think a lot of people were saying, and now, this is the memes that come out, right? One loss and he retires. You can imagine a world in which obviously it's not going to happen, but you can imagine, like, okay, Decimate and Co, they lose in a winners round 1 to Minnesota Rokkr, for example, and then, straight after that, Decimate's like, okay, boys, I'm out, I'm dipping once again, and again, good luck getting a new 4th, which is effectively what the Seattle guys had to deal with when they ended up getting Classic in, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the players are frustrated on that starting team that, Decimate just dipped off their team and forced them to get someone else coming into the squad. So, he's getting another opportunity, it does seem, right? So fair play to Decimate for, finding another opportunity here. I think this is a good one to take up, to be honest, because there's not too much pressure on you, really. You're coming into a new Subliners team, which they need some sort of 4th. Obviously, there is some pressure, but it's only a short-term arrangement. So, yeah, opportunity to, I suppose, redeem Decimate's self here if he can help this team make some sort of run, if they do indeed confirm that's what's going to be happening over the coming days. Thought I would mention this as well. I thought it was pretty funny. Crimsix asks JCap, just tell me when and where, and I'll be there 20 minutes late. Scrims at 12:40 from now on. So, awesome discussion really that Crimsix has been a little bit late this year. Certainly something I want to keep my eyes on because, there's always some discussion about pros not turning up to scrims on time. Crimsix seems to have been one of the prime offenders, and maybe JCap is hinting at a similar thing, right? right here. Speaking of Los Angeles, Thieves thought this is quite remarkable. Kenny, in the last 4 years since he really came onto the scene in World War II, and especially this season, a lot of these changes I imagine have happened with Los Angeles Thieves, but Kenny's never been dropped, and understandably so, but his teams have changed rosters 10 times. Now, he has won some championships in that time, no doubt. Black Ops 4, World War II, for example. This season hasn't quite looked the same. The teams are, well, switching things up around him, and whether things will change along those lines as well, that of course does remain to be seen. We talked about the whole Drazah, TJHaLy question mark yesterday, which, well, maybe will come to fruition after this major. As you can see right here, I'm putting the OpTic guys Photoshop this of the screenshot we saw yesterday. OpTic Chicago here on the main stage. Honestly, it's going to be phenomenal stuff to see. Only a couple of days away now from the LAN kicking underway. We had some viewership stats that came out as well from Stage 3. It was like 63, 62,000 peak viewership. All, of course, the top games were OpTic games, understandably so. But look, at the end of the day, getting that kind of, 60-odd thousand viewers for league matches is pretty impressive stuff, to be honest. And I imagine the major should be pretty spectacular, especially if OpTic can make some sort of decent run. Of course, that tends to boost the viewership. We know the drill at this point. This then is the schedule for the LAN I wanted to run through just before we finished off the video. So, of course, the Saturday, once again, we've got this crazy long day. And, okay, winners final on the final day of Saturday as well. So, it seems like they're going down the same route as before when they've got the elimination round 5, the elimination final, and the major grand final all on the Sunday. So, the same way it was last time when there's 4 teams make the championship Sunday, it does seem right now. Winners final obviously happening right here. Now, this is interesting because there's a whole discussion about the fact that, okay, if you play the winners final, that means you're coming into the grand final completely cold, whereas the team has just won 2 elimination rounds on LAN and they're coming in to face you, right? So it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be very exciting, but once again, 4 teams are going to be making the championship Sunday at least on this schedule, and these of course are the games for the Thursday. So we've got a couple of losers games early on. Los Angeles Thieves play LAG, for example. That's going to be a really interesting one. And OpTic versus Dallas, obviously a massive series on the line right here. The winner of that will play Ultra the very next day at the same time. The winner of Subliners versus Minnesota Rokkr, which of course we've talked about Subliners today, going to be a tough time for them. Rokkr have looked good. They also looked good, Rokkr did, against Atlanta FaZe. So I wonder if anything could potentially happen there. And New York have also been a team that's posed problems for Atlanta FaZe. At the same time though, New York are not going to be firing on all cylinders, I imagine, here without a Seam on their team. I'm pretty sure he's a crucial component. That at least is my perspective. I think they're going to miss his presence right here if he can't make it. Of course, playing the Rokkr team where he was actually on that squad last season. So many great storylines. Of course, FaZe are going to come in here as favourites, but a lot of dark horse potential runs, I think, and a lot of teams that need great results here, or they're going to have to make some sort of change after the Stage 4 major before the rosters lock, before Stage 5, and then through to the World Championship. And take your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed this content. I know people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I'm growing the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you once again as always, take care, and I will see you next time.